Have you ever just popped into a mall, grabbed a coffee, did some shopping, and then, went skiing? Well, I did, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about when it comes to indoor skiing and snowboarding, so let's get into it. What's going on, Midwest skiers and riders? Matthew Zabransky with MidwestSkiers.com, and I hope everybody is having a fantastic off-season, or in this case, in-season. Big snow in New Jersey has been on my bucket list for a long time, and yes, I know it is not in the Midwest. But this operation is unique and relatable to the Midwest given its size, location, and demographic. So my trip out there had a lot behind it. First, I wanted to know what makes this unique operation tick, if there was anything that the Midwest can learn from an operation like this, and what the future for indoor skiing and snowboarding looks like, and if it has potential here in the Midwest. As you could probably guess, my mind has been exploding over the past week as I process all this information from this trip. But before I do deep dive videos on all the elements of this operation, I wanted to sit down and just get my first reactions to this experience. Now, if you want to see those nerdy deep dive videos, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel, as I'm going to be working on writing those right after this video launches. But let's get into my first reactions from Big Snow. The first thing that you'll notice before even arriving on the scene is how urban this location truly is. I flew into Newark, got off a plane, and basically took a lift to the mall, which all took about 20 to 30 minutes, no joke. This trip was initially supposed to be a quick hitter, flying in Monday morning, skiing that afternoon, then back at it Tuesday, and flying back Tuesday afternoon. And that's all super doable. That's if your flight doesn't get canceled and you have to spend a week in New York. Anyway, the drive over paints the scene perfectly, as you can see the New York skyline in the distance, and as you edge closer, you get a sense of how urban this location truly is. I mean, it is only 12 miles from Manhattan, which is absolutely crazy to think about. Then you pull up to this massive ramp structure that's sticking out of a large mall, and this mall kind of reminds me of Mall of America. Oddly enough, it turns out they have the same owners. That all said, I knew this information going into the trip, but seeing it in person was just mind-blowing. And this is coming from somebody that really specializes in urban ski areas. The Midwest is kind of the king of that, but this is just on another level. Literally, it's on the second floor of the mall. But what is impressive is how embedded it is in the public eye. There are skiing advertisements, people walking around with snowboards, and even a Yeti mascot all running around a very populated area. In fact, when I first got there, I swung by a coffee shop located on the other side of the mall, and a family overheard me talking to my camera about skiing. Of course, they came up to me and asked if I was going to Big Snow, as they were going there as well. They said that they loved it there, and the mom actually taught her son how to snowboard there because it's the perfect environment for beginners, as conditions are always the same. Which brings me to my next reaction. It's bigger, colder, and more legit than I could have ever thought. I knew from early on that this was a real snow operation. I knew that Big Snow kept the temperature at 28 degrees, and heck, I even knew the physical dimensions of the building, but for some reason, it didn't do it justice. Now, I'm not saying that it's huge, and it's certainly not a place that you're gonna spend all day at. Actually, it's not really designed to be. But for what it is pretty dang impressive. The snow is consistent, the temperature is in that perfect zone, and it certainly doesn't feel like you're trapped in a freezer, which is kind of what I was expecting. More impressive was how integrated the ski area was into the mall. You had a restaurant that overlooked a chairlift, a coffee shop where you could legit ring a bell and get service. It's unlike anything I have ever seen. I actually spent a morning in that coffee shop catching up on emails, and honestly, I would go there on a regular basis just to work and continue to get that ski vibe all year round. But one thing that was definitely not regular about this place was its operations, both on the front end and the back end. The front end is extremely efficient, with the goal of moving about 60 people through its queue about every 15 minutes. And I'll go into a lot more details on this subject in our deep dive videos, but every element of this experience is optimized and super smooth. On the back end of things, well, I'm not sure I can fully describe everything without going into a super long video, which I will undoubtedly do in the future. But the short of it is that they have a ton of glycol systems in place to get the ambient temperature down to 28 degrees, and then they make snow using pretty much traditional methods. The snowmaking system is advanced, especially for its age, but it's not a high volume system. In fact, from zero snow, it took about 2 months to reach the current snow depth of about 2 feet across the entire area. The floor also has a glycol system in it to help preserve snow, and they add and remove snow basically on a regular basis, almost daily. They have a pre-knot husky that had to be crane lifted in. I mean, there's a lot to talk about here, and I will definitely go through all of these details in an upcoming video. So, if you have specific questions on the operations side of things, be sure to drop those in the comments below. Actually, if you have questions for anything about this operation, please let me know. Finally, it's working. Big Snow has been in operation for 4 years and has continued to grow year over year despite a massive setback in 2021 when it had to close its doors for 8 months due to a fire. So what does this mean for indoor skiing and snowboarding? Well, we might be seeing more locations in the coming years. It's no secret that Big Snow is building a brand and a system to bring indoor skiing and snowboarding to the masses. The only question left is where? Well, I'm sure that news will fall really soon. I have been on a lot of ski trips over the past 33 years, but this is undoubtedly one of the most memorable. Sure, the skiing itself was far from, any other trip I've taken out west or even the Midwest. But my ski industry nerd was in heaven. The amount that goes on behind the scenes, coupled with the opportunities that this ski area has to grow our industry, is something to get really, really amped up about. And before we sign off, I want to give a huge thank you to Head Skis, who made this trip possible and has been a huge supporter of this channel since day one. We'll include some links below to check out their newest lineup of skis for this upcoming year. Ooh, I am so excited for this upcoming ski season, aren't you? But until next time, I hope everybody has a great week. Pray for that snow, and I will see you out there.